my gosh. How exciting. Exciting? Are you excited? So many movement on the screen. Isn't that right? I'm gonna get our easy content now. We're gonna react for an easy segment we can upload. Hold on. Where is everybody? Where's my most regular viewer in the world? And by that I mean Greater Range. Wow. None of the regulars are here today. It's a good thing that I'm starting with this easy content then. Alright then. I'm putting my headphones on. Maybe somebody will join along the way. Here's hoping. Right, let's go. Destiny versus vegan gains.
Benefit
really?
ratio.
Do you want to
They might
bet?
get a
Do you want to
tummy
bet?
ache.
Do you want to bet 100 million?
You wanna bet? You wanna bet? You wanna bet? You wanna bet? Like a parrot. 100 billion. You wanna bet $100
Dollars, your entire life's worth, that there won't be any other side
Wait, hold on. He's actually valuing vegan gains for a pretty big amount of money.
effects. Bet $100 million, your entire life.
I didn't think that Destiny thought vegan gains was worth $100 million. That was vegan gains' life worth. $100 million. As an American, you should have an opinion on everything, no matter how dumb your opinion is. Protected by First Amendment, by the way. Cool. Wait, are you an American, Vladimir? Are you an American? Lucy, bring microphone closer to the mouth. Really? It is closer now. Is it not close enough? I cannot speak louder because my throat is bad. I speak louder, but my throat is really bad. And I used the dry shampoo right before this. And in addition to me being ill, some of the dry shampoo got into my throat. So my throat is double whacked. It's double screwed, you know? It's not in a good place. My throat is in a bad place. It's in a bad spot. It's suffering right now. But it's okay. I'm sacrificing myself for you. Staff Slacker, thank you for the $10. I'm not sure how I've earned this privilege, but thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, let's start.
Life's worth, that there won't be any other side effects discovered for these drugs in the past 20 years? And would you be willing to stake your entire country's
They've
health
been
on the line
market
for that?
10 years.
Bet on the market for weight loss? No! Hold on.
Seems to be the
You're
case.
using a gut feeling to say that it's justified to murder a CEO? Really?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's not even vegan.
Wait, hold on. Destiny's going to go against the killing of the CEO? I did not see that coming. I genuinely thought that vegan gains would be the one sort of being against the killing of the CEO, and Destiny would be the one sort of, you know. Okay, this is interesting. Am I going to align with vegan gains? Because that's what's gonna happen. How unexpected. Oh well, let's watch.
Vegan to begin with, so who cares? Wanted
What?
to know your personal take on the United Healthcare CEO getting...
As apart from the public take, right? Your personal take. Okay, I'm gonna stop pausing every 5 seconds because I'm not even saying anything funny or meaningful. Let's just watch it
Killed.
now.
Probably not a good
deserved it?
thing. No, I don't think so.
How come?
One, I'm not even sure if he was doing anything illegal. So it's kind of weird to be killing people for things that are allowed in terms of business operating under the law. And then two, I think it is misdirecting anger at healthcare issues in the United States, and it's trying to levy it upon a solo industry, which is health insurance, when there's like exorbitant costs across the entirety of the healthcare spectrum, from pharmaceuticals and providers to insurance to every other fucking bullshit. All of our shit.
Yeah, but isn't this particular company pretty notorious? Even when compared to other companies, isn't this particular company's rejection rate super grossly larger than other companies of the same vein?
Shit is really expensive.
Right, okay, I'll push back on two things there.
I'm not even sure if it's about stuff being expensive. It's about people being unreasonably rejected when it comes to care, no? Like there was no reasonable justification for people being rejected. And then they died. A lot of them. That's so the whole argument that is being made here, as I understand it. And that it basically led to what happened. That people were fed up with it, and that this sort of negligence, I don't know how to call it, this sort of disregard for human life has caused a pushback, inevitable pushback, right? I'm not saying I condone it, but I can certainly understand it. I'm not even sure if in this case it's misdirected anger. It's directed at a pretty specific company that has done very specifically outrageous things. Even when compared to other healthcare companies, this one is apparently far worse. No, but I have to deal with dumb opinions of Americans and their impact on politics. So, I guess. I mean, we all have to be honest. We all have to. At the end of the day, what happens in the US affects the entire world. Like it or not, that is the reality of our world that we live in.
One, I think it's perfectly sensible to use violence to stop somebody doing something immoral,
I
regardless.
mean, it's not even about it being sensible. It's understandable. That is the term that I would use. I would use the term, it's understandable. Like at some point, certain actions will create a reaction. And in this case, it was the shooting, right? All actions garner a reaction, as they say. And again, you can view it from a few angles. The angle of the healthcare industry as a whole, or just the section of healthcare insurance industry, or you can view it from the position of this particular company that is apparently much worse than the other healthcare insurance companies.
Of whether or not it's legal. Slavery, for instance, was legal. There were, slaves and anti-slavery activists who would kill slave owners. Don't
Yeah,
think
sure,
most
but there's
people have
probably
an
going to be
issue with
like
that.
levels of removal from that, I would imagine, right? So, for instance,
Well,
like
yeah,
let's say we
I
buy
mean, not
products from
everything is
slaves.
as immoral as slavery.
Sure.
I'm just using that as I'm just saying I think that's a poor argument in and of itself.
I don't like the way Vegan Gain speaks. But then again, it sort of annoys me. But at the same time, it also sort of amuses me. It is amusing. Is it okay now? I've lowered it. I've lowered it just for you, fake Alec Kyle Parker. I did it for you. How's it now? Look at the video. It looks like me and Destiny were looking at one another. If I tilt my head like this, it totally looks like we're looking at each other. And even if I made myself smaller, hold on, which I'm gonna do right now. I make myself a bit smaller. Wow. Oh boy. Now it totally looks like we're looking at each other, doesn't it? Right? You gotta admit. Look at the video screen. Destiny's looking at me. I'm looking at Destiny. We're looking each other deep in the eye. I'm sure the guy that is debating Destiny doesn't know how private companies impact life of average American citizens every year. I mean, so far the Vegan Gains guy seems to be making the case that the people were in the right to push back against the company. I'm not someone to support vigilantism, but I get why someone would want to make a healthcare insurance CEO meet a short end. Basically, yeah. I'm not gonna cheer for and condone the killing, but like seeing as this company is apparently extremely bad, even compared to other companies, I can understand why this would create friction and something like that happening. I can understand it, and I'm not really gonna cry over the CEO. I'm sorry. That is unfortunate reality of the situation.
Well, yeah, it's not the only argument that I'm relying on, but I think that if something is literally a legal behavior, we're going to start to need more justifications for why, like, this is condemnable with vigilante like assassination. I think.
I mean, I still think this is a weak argument. The legality. I think this is weak. There's a dictatorship in which certain things are legal. This is weak. The legality is not be all and end all of things. I'm afraid it is weak.
Like, I think if it was like
no,
immoral and clearly
like,
illegal, I
look
think
at
that you
eating
have...
meat, for instance. Like, I think it's totally fine for
Wait,
somebody.
so if something is immoral and legal, then it needs extra justification to push back against it? Is that the argument? Really? Why? Why do we need extra justification if something is immoral but legal? Can somebody in the chat provide me with an answer? Because I don't have one. I don't have an answer to the question why you need a an extra justification when something is immoral and legal as opposed to immoral and illegal. It's like that thing that happens in Ohio with train derailment disaster. Tons of vinyl chloride being spilled. It's a bit too. Most Americans just ignore that. So what do you think? I don't see the strength of that argument.
To use vigilante justice to stop people from killing and torturing animals. Now, I don't think that's a effective means of activism, but I don't know how you could justify, torturing and murdering billions of animals, even though it's perfectly legal and it's one of the most common, human behaviors.
But I think that's a lot more easy to link to like a directly immoral thing, right? Rather than
a huge company having a grossly larger rejection rate for people that need healthcare to live. That's harder to link to an immoral thing in your mind? Really? I don't think it is. If you have a rejection rate that is by numbers of magnitude higher than different companies and it leads to many deaths that were preventable, then in my mind it's pretty easily linkable to an immoral act. Am I missing something? I know I'm not from the US. I'm not well versed on this, but this seems pretty clear cut to me. Is there some information that I'm missing here? Am I about to be schooled through this debate? Am I about to learn something new?
The CEO of a health insurance company that is making decisions about accepting or denying claims I think we're many levels removed at that point, I think.
Well, no, it's not. How is it many levels removed? If rejecting or accepting a claim can lead to someone either living or dying. There has to be something here that I don't get. There simply has to be something here that I don't get. Where's the levels of separation? Where are those levels? Maybe I'm just stupid. I have to be explained it like a child. Somebody please call in. Somebody call in and explain it to me. As if I was a small child. I need it, apparently. I desperately need it. Please help me. Please help me. Because I'm lost. I'm like a child in the mist. Or I feel like a child in the mist right now.
I don't think so. Look, the guy's the...
It feels really strange that I'm siding... that I feel like I'm siding more with Vegan Gains right now. Isn't it strange? Isn't it weird?
CEO of the company. Ultimately, really, the buck stops with him. He's the one who represents the company. I'm sure he had a huge part to play in why they end up denying so many claims, and apparently it has to do with this bullshit AI software.
Sure.
AI?
They're
also
AI software? Really?
Claim by claim. So one, the AI software, that's an allegation right now in a civil suit. We don't even know how real or true that is, and that only...
Real or true? What's the difference between real and true? That is a really weird sentence structure. We don't know how real or true this is. But I guess if it's an... okay, I guess we don't have to discuss the AI thing. Wow, okay. We'll see. We'll see what the whole proceeding will tell us about the AI.
Concerns elderly patients on a Medicare, I think, Plus or Medicare Advanced plan or something. And it only has to do with the fact that the denials had a high appeal rate, 90%. That's if, and that's just a claim made in a civil suit. We don't actually know. They don't provide any evidence in that suit. You can look up the lawsuit if you want. Then the second thing is, just because somebody...
Hello, Greater Rain. I'm watching a video, Destiny debating Vegan Gains on the shooting of the CEO. And weirdly enough, I'm finding myself siding more with Vegan Gains, which is very strange. Whatever. It happens.
Appeals, or I'm sorry, just because somebody denies a claim, is every single claim denial unethical, or?
I would say nearly.
I mean, if you have a high okay, from what I understand, again, of this case, of what happened here, this particular company has a much higher rejection rate than other companies of the same type, of other healthcare insurance companies, by a lot more rejections. And if there's this company that rejects a lot more claims than other companies, and it leads to a whole lot more deaths, then yeah, you do have to sort of wonder if there is no, at least wonder if there's no immorality going on, if there's not something immoral going on at that point, because you might just be dealing with people being murdered through bureaucracy at that point. Yeah, you might be dealing with a company willingly sentencing people to death even though they could not. They have in their power not to. That is how I see it. And at some point, this sort of thing will lead to a pushback. Well, I'm talking about more life threat, like life. I'm talking about rejections to lead to people dying. And apparently, this company, through its rejections, has led to many people dying. So I don't know where the levels of separation are here.
How?
Like,
Wait,
think,
wait, wait.
okay,
Is
so-
insurance obligated to cover every single claim that you make then under insurance policy?
I would say, in all likelihood, nearly every claim. So there are obviously, different insurance policies. So if something doesn't fit within your policy, that's one thing. So I know, like, they might not cover certain health conditions. Like, I don't know, maybe like dental isn't covered. So if you get your teeth knocked out or something, they won't cover that.
Which is weird, by the way. Dental should absolutely be covered. That is also something that baffles me. But, yeah, whatever.
understand something like that, where somebody, I don't know, just files the wrong type of claim, but assuming it is covered by your policy, so for instance, maybe you have like a heart problem, or maybe you're overweight, diabetic or something, and according to your policy, any kind of medication or treatment that would be covered under the policy to treat those conditions, if that's denied, then yeah, 99% of the time, or 99.9% of the time, it would be unethical to deny the claim.
Wait, why do you
the
think a company
basis-
would deny a claim if it was covered by your policy and if a doctor prescribed it to you and it was like medically necessary?
They do that all the fucking time. They do it completely and utterly arbitrarily. So
Does Destiny think that this company has never rejected valid claims, life-threatening claims? As in people whose life were threatened and it was covered by the policy? Does Destiny think that the company never rejected claims such as these?
Wait, why?
they just
Does Destiny think that illegitimate rejections? I think I'm gonna return the question to Destiny. Actually, he asked, "Are all rejections immoral?" I guess I'm just gonna ask Destiny this: Does it ever happen that an unjustified rejection happens? Are all rejections justified in Destiny's view, without exception?
to make money. They just want to take your money and not give any payouts. That happens all the fucking time.
But they literally have to do that. You have to pay out 80% of what you receive in premiums as healthcare coverage. If you weren't paying it out and you were making too much administrative cost, you would have to literally reimburse your payers.
That is a bit naive. I'm gonna be honest. That is a bit naive. I didn't think Destiny was so naive on insurance companies, but you can't do that. I mean, I'm sorry. It happens in all sorts of insurance that companies do all they can. They fight to the last to deny you your thing. That happens in all fields, whether or not it's an accident, whether it's your house getting burned, the company will always fight tooth and nail not to pay you what you're owed. Of course, not just in healthcare. I'm going to be honest. It's a bit of a naive take to say, oh, yeah, but companies can't do that. They're obliged to do it. They have to do it. Like, come on. Of course, they're going to look for a way to not do it. Is Vegan Gains going to play the devil's advocate here? Yeah, he is. Apparently so. Yeah, it looks like it. What an interesting debate this is turning out to be, huh? What an interesting debate we're dealing with here.
What do you mean?
As part of the ACA, there's an 80-20 rule in the United States that a health insurance company can at the most have 20% of the money that they make be part of their administrative cost. 80% has to be paid out in premiums. or not in premiums, in healthcare coverage costs.
Okay, I don't know how that contradicts what I said.
Well, let's say that you receive $1 million
chances are-
in premiums and you decide to just cancel everybody's like coverage because you're being a dick. Well, if you have all this money sitting around in premiums and you haven't paid out any in healthcare, well, now you just have to give the money back to your customers. You can't keep that.
Yeah, that still doesn't contradict what I said. I'm not claiming they try to deny every single claim possibly. What I'm saying is, whenever they get an opportunity,
But you can keep the percentage of denials on such a level that you'll be able to get away with it, no? Like this company, from what I understand, has an extremely high denial rate.
they'll try to not, pay out some of these claims, especially when they think they have some sort of leeway.
Well, what is the
So-
percentage of claims that you think are just like bullshit? Like they're just like, fuck this.
Well,
Well, okay, that's not even a correct question to ask right now. We should start from what is the percentage of all denials, and within that percentage of denials, what percentage is BS in Vegan Gains' opinion? Like we should first establish how many denials there are in that company. Then we can start talking about how many of those denials are legitimate and how many of those denials are illegitimate. Because it makes no sense to me to start from asking how many denials are legitimate if we don't even know how many there are and how many denials are considered normal within the industry, and in comparison to that norm, quote unquote, in the industry, what is this company's rejection rate? Because again, from what I've heard, it's high even compared to the standard of the industry. Does that make sense or no? You think I'm making sense? I think I'm making perfect sense, but
have any hard numbers, but when we're talking about United Healthcare, they're a huge anomaly. Over 30% of their claims get denied, where I think
right, see? I heard about this as well. This is one thing that I've heard about this company, that this company has a much bigger rejection rate than others.
industry average is somewhere between 10 and 15%. So they have somewhere
Which is
between
still high, by the way. 10 to 15% of rejected. 1 out of every 10 people gets rejected. Or more, 15%. That's already high, but 30%?
between 2 to 3 times more claim denials than any other healthcare company.
Sure, but then why?
So at least there, I think it's like relatively
here, wait.
safe
So first
to
question
assume.
is, so are the other people that have, let's assume the industry standard is 15%. Are all of those claim denials also like arbitrary bullshit?
Well, I can't.
I mean, I would assume that Vegan Gains will say yes here, but like this is something that I said to Wick, right? If we assume that in general the industry has a reasonable amount of rejections, which I don't think that's the case, but let's assume that all the other companies reject cases for perfectly legitimate reasons, and that the industry standard is 10 to 15%. So why is this company's rejection rate 30%? Does that mean that the other companies are accepting cases that should be rejected? Does that mean that this company is extra good about rejecting things legitimately and other companies just let things pass through even though they should be rejected? Is that the argument being made here? That actually the other companies are lowering the standard and they should be rejecting more? Or what? Are there so special circumstances for this particular company that make the rejections more legitimate? That make it more legitimate for this particular company to reject more? Like, I don't get it. It's either this company rejects too much or all the other companies reject too little, from what I stand. Maybe I'm just making a stupid argument here, but I don't know.
Give you any kind of hard numbers, but yeah, if the industry average is about 15% and United Healthcare has over 30% denial, that's a pretty odd, like, weird anomaly.
Sure, but why would
So
we?
I'd
No,
say,
wait. This is
somewhere
wait,
around
wait,
10 or
wait. Why would we?
15%
Wait, one point at a time.
rejections are
One point at a time. Why?
Okay, why would we assume what?
Why would we assume that if their rates were higher, it's because of arbitrary or capricious bullshit? That there's no reason. Could we not think of possibly other explanations?
Like, what are the other explanations? Is it that this one particular company does its scrutiny and all the other companies are slacking and should be rejecting more? Are the cases in this particular company special compared to the other companies? What are these other explanations? I'd like to hear them. I'd like to hear them right now. Tell them. Tell me the other explanations, Stephen. Maybe I should be debating this.
Well,
I'm feeling like hearing those debates, I'm feeling more and more confident that maybe I should debate this topic because it feels silly. Silly, silly, silly. Silly Billy.
it's possible, but I mean, when the industry average is around 15% and they have over twice the claim denial, that's very suspicious.
Sure, but then the
I
next
don't
step
know
would be
why
to
I
ask
would
a question.
logically assume.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to assume anything. You're logically assuming that it's evil. I'm saying, why not think of maybe why that might be? Why not like do like the first start of investigation on it and figure out like, well, why is that?
Well,
Who's gonna conduct the investigation? Is the company gonna investigate itself? It's legal. You just said it yourself before. If it's legal, then who's gonna launch an investigation? You? Scotland Yard from Britain's gonna come over to the US and start the Who's gonna do the investigation? It's just a conversation killer. Well, we should start an investigate. Who's gonna investigate it? Who? No one. Come on. We should start an investigation. That's a non-starter. If I ever heard one.
sure. I mean, I don't.
Someone should ask who would do it. What investigation? By what body exactly? You should wait for the investigation to finish.
don't know exactly how I would go about finding research on this. I might be able to find something, but what I'm saying is that is highly suspicious.
Yes, but
Also,
suspicious
by the way-
is not suspicious is your starting point. That's not your
Okay,
conclusion.
well, listen, by the way, I am friends with doctors who work in the United States, and they tell me these bullshit claim
Wait, is Vegan Gains not from the US?
denials happen all the fucking time. And
Who is a doctor
sometimes-
representing?
Sorry?
Who is a doctor representing?
Well, the patient, really.
No, the doctor's representing themselves. Doctors should have an antagonistic relationship against insurance companies. They're trying to get money out of them, of course. So why would I take a
Okay.
doctor's opinion? That'd be like asking a health insurance company, do you think that
Sorry,
doctors like
sorry,
file too many bullshit claims? Of
do
course they're going to say
health
yes, right?
do health insurance managers have more medical expertise than medical doctors?
It depends on what the question is about specifically.
What?
Okay, so if
Like
the
a healthcare
question
manager
is
that's
that-
God, this is why healthcare should not be in the purview of finance. It should not be about making a profit. Because then the company will be in an antagonistic relationship with the doctor, which should absolutely not be the case. This is ridiculous. I guess this becomes a case of health versus profit. Which one will win out in the end? The doctor that is, I guess, trying to help the patient, or the company that feels like the doctor is trying to squeeze what?
Yeah, about like
Should
whether
the-
if a health
you're interrupting me.
well, hold on, let me do one point at a time. If a healthcare manager, if you have a question about like which drug has
U.S. healthcare system is so weird.
a better outcome for like patients or whatever, I might expect a person that manages a policy to have more firsthand information about that than a doctor. Because one, it might be outside of their area of specialties, and two, the doctor probably sees way fewer patients than like an insurance company would see patients coming through. I would imagine they're going to know the numbers on that a lot more. Now, for a specific
How would
patient,
an insurance
yeah.
company have more knowledge on what medications to take than a doctor or a pharmacist?
Because it's the insurance company's job, and they literally get paid based on their information and ability to know this.
Well, no, because that's stupid. It's not their job. They cannot know. It's on individual basis. Each patient is an individual case. It's not a statistic. You cannot statistically just illnesses differ, or bodies differ. The way our illnesses will be treated also differ. That's nonsense. That an insurance company based on stats and numbers can deduct what medicine a person will need. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding the argument. Maybe I'm just being silly.
Like that's where they make their money,
So
is knowing what's
do
appropriate.
they go
to...
through medical school or become a pharmacist? Like, is that actually what they do? Like, do they hire actual medical doctors and pharmacists?
You wouldn't hire a medical
Or
doctor.
as-
Somebody that works in the clinical side of things isn't going to be valuable there. It's going to be a researcher that would be valuable. Doctors wouldn't be expected to know all the research like a researcher would who's working for a health insurance company.
What do you
right?
mean by a researcher? Is it researcher in what exactly? Like, you just threw the word researcher out there, but researcher of what? True. Oh, come on, Lucy. Yes, they're a healthcare company, and yes, they're operating in the area of legal boundaries. But if you consider that United Healthcare is a private company, smile face. Come on. How ridiculous is that? No, they're not gonna hire doctors. They're gonna hire researchers. Researchers of what? Private researcher in a private... Like, what? What does that even mean? Can we get some specifics? I usually get specifics from Destiny, but now I get this weird, vague nothing of an argumentation in this debate. Researchers.
Yeah. Like if you were to go to a doctor and start quizzing him on like all the latest like drug study, the doctor probably wouldn't know. It's not in his job. He doesn't have to know. He shouldn't know.
But that makes no sense. And how is a researcher gonna parse out individual claims if what?
That's not what his goal is.
So why in the fuck do doctors have the right?
Like, what is the role of this researcher when it comes to parsing out individual claims? And what does the newest research... Actually, doctors usually do have to be, when it comes to their field of medicine, doctors actually do have to be updated with the newest research, by the way. That's actually a thing, but that's neither here nor there. But even putting that aside, how would this researcher who deals with broader trends and broader research about types of medicine be able to parse out if an individual patient needs that or not, needs that treatment or not, if each patient's case is unique based on their diagnosis, based on the tests that they went through, based on their medical history? You cannot just take these individual patients and throw them into a broader trend or broader research results and be like, oh yeah, they definitely don't need that and that's super legitimate. Why even have doctors at that point? Why not just replace them with researchers? Hello, Philippe August. This just feels so nonsensical to me so far. Maybe I'm just too ill right now. I have a brain fog. I have a mind fog because of my cold. This is my sniffies and because of my sore throat. I'm just too slow right now to comprehend the in-depth, intricate argumentation that is being made during this debate.
To prescribe medication, but these fucking insurance company providers don't.
Because the doctor can look at an individual patient, assess the totality of their conditions, and for one person prescribe
So
what
do
they
you think
feel.
we should change the healthcare system and have insurers actually prescribe medication since they'd know better?
No, I don't think an insurer would know better for an individual patient. Because
Well then, what are we talking about? Insurance claims are about individual patients. What do you think denials are about? What are are insurance denials done in bulk? Are you saying that individual cases are not being reviewed by those insurance companies? That would be horrible. Are the rejections done in bulk? If a doctor is good at assessing an individual patient's case, then rejection or acceptance of the insurance should be done on this individual case. No? In which case, the doctor should be the biggest expert in the room, not the researcher. What's happening? I'm lost. I'm lost in this argumentation. I'm completely lost in the sauce. Is there genuinely something that I'm misunderstanding here? Is there some deeper argument that I'm just missing? It's just flying over my head. I feel so stupid right now. Maybe my illness has affected my IQ in a negative way.
an insurer is going to look at me and say, well, then
there you
72%.
go. Then why are they fucking denying claims when you're admitting the fucking doctor would know better?
I don't know.
What's happening? Oh god. Oh gosh.
No, neither of us know that answer because you haven't even looked into it. You're just assuming they denied to be evil.
But have you looked into it? You're both debating it and none of you have looked into it? Come on. I love it. I love this. I love what's happening here. I love what just happened. Well, you haven't looked into it. Well, I mean, if I were in a debate, I guess I would have asked, well, I mean, have you? Have you looked into it? And I'm going to be honest. If Destiny responded with, I haven't either, if I asked him, have you looked into it? And he said no, then all that would be left for me to say is, well, then why are we even debating it? Why are we debating this? We both haven't looked into it. Why are we debating this topic that none of us actually in reality know anything about? None of us know anything about this. And yet we all debate this topic so strongly. Why? Is this Cyberpunk 2077 or something? Why all of a sudden private company became more important than patience? Because profit, of course. What do you mean? What do you mean why? It's because it's profit time. I'm lost. I'm lost in this debate. Two people that have not looked into it debate the thing, and actually there are researchers in the insurance companies that look at the broader trends and the broader research. But actually the doctor would be better at assessing the individual cases. But then I would assume that the individual cases matter when in rejections or approvals of cases, of claims. But I guess no. I guess the researchers matter more, and the rejections or approvals are done in bulk. That is a very interesting conversation. It's like the blind leading the blind. And a third blind person is reacting to it. I'm the most blind person because I'm a foreigner who's very unacquainted with the American healthcare system. So I'm like a blind person trying to observe, doing my best to observe a blind person leading a blind person, or if you will, two blind people arguing about what they see. Wow. I think United Healthcare's customers should update their status to a platinum. Oh la la. Ooh la la.
Well, no, we know the answer. They try to they try to deny claims so that they don't lose money.
But that doesn't make any sense, because if they deny, like on the UHC people, I think that 18% of their
Oh
costs.
my God.
What
Bro.
they can't keep all the money. They would have to pay it back. They'd have to give it back to their customers.
Yeah, they don't keep all the money. They only keep the money from the 30% of the rejected claims. It's not 70% gets accepted. That's the majority still. So they don't keep all the money.
That okay, dude, this isn't like you're using the absolute most ridiculous extreme. I'm not saying they deny absolutely every single
To be
claim.
clear, you're the one saying they
No, only 30%. There's only 30%. It's fine. I mean, they do. They clearly do, Richard. Like, come on. They clearly can. Because they do. They clearly can get away with 30%. I guess that's the easiest response to that. Why would you entertain this? Like, yeah, they can't do this. They have to give back the money. Well, clearly they can, because their rejection rate is 30%. So clearly they can. Up to 30%. That's the limit, I guess, as far as we know. So yes, clearly they can. And they don't have to give back the money to the customers. Up to 30% of rejected claims. That would be my brilliant response to this claim that they cannot do this. They cannot just keep all the money.
arbitrarily
saying
deny
is-
some claims just to make money. That's an extreme statement. You're saying
Yes,
that they just
no,
deny
it's
some
not.
things to
No,
make some
it's
money.
not. No, it's not, and they
I mean, why do they have a rejection rate of 30%? We still, like, we're just...
obviously
Whatever.
fucking do that. That is
And they're
no
just gonna circle around the same arguments over and over and over and over and over again. It's just gonna be like a circle of life kind of thing. Well, they reject without a reason. No, they don't. They'd have to return all the money. They cannot keep all the money. Well, they can. Can they? Yeah, because they do it. How do I even engage with this?
fucking secret.
It's no secret because everybody on Reddit says it. Well, I mean, like, legit.
Not just on Reddit, on Twitter as well.
why you literally admitted a doctor would know better when it comes to prescribing medication, and you just admitted that insurance company providers deny some of these medical claims when it comes to like medications.
I don't know why they deny
if
the
the
claim.
doctor knows
Why do you
better-
why do you think they deny the claim? Do you think they deny it because they're saying they know better than the doctor, or are they denying because of other reasons, like pre-authorization
Okay,
reasons?
well,
Or
here's an example.
What do you think they deny it?
Okay, so here's an example. Ozempic, right? Or Wegovy. Ozempic is technically the drug they prescribe for diabetes. Wegovy is the one that they prescribe for obesity. So they will deny covering medication costs for Ozempic or Wegovy on the basis of this drug isn't FDA approved for treating obesity, therefore we're going to deny coverage. Why the fuck do you think they would do that when there is just an innumerable amount of randomized trial proving these are the most effective drugs for fucking obesity? Why would they deny the coverage when all of these fucking doctors want to prescribe this to their patients so that they can, reduce the risk of heart disease,
And so your
mortality,
claim is that you think that-
diabetes.
you think that
These
insurance
drugs
companies-
reduce the risk of fucking
I
dying.
mean, I would actually, and I guess I would just, for the sake of argument, I would turn around the argument on Destiny. What? Are all the doctors just trying to scam the poor companies? Are the doctors trying to scam all the poor insurance companies? Are they just prescribing en masse unnecessary medication and treatment to patients? Trying to scam the poor company? And the company is just forced to reject, to defend itself from the unjust terror of the evil doctors that are trying to destroy them. What's the claim? I'm trying to discover the United States healthcare system right now through this debate. I'm trying to parse it out. I'm trying to piece the puzzles. I'm trying to finish the jigsaw.
you think that
this is proven.
it's not.
So
If it
why
was
are they
proven, then why
denying the
isn't it?
claim?
Then your issue is with the FDA. You think that
No,
insurance
it's not.
companies should,
No, it's not.
Hold on, let me just.
My
You think that
issue is
insurance?
with
You
the
think that insurance
healthcare
companies?
provider.
You think that it? No, not the
they're
provider,
doing
but
that
the insurance
totally
company.
arbitrarily, so they don't have to.
Okay,
cover
it's
the
not
cost of
arbitrary.
these
You
very
just said it's
expensive
off-label.
medications.
That's not arbitrary. You think insurance companies should be mandated?
It's not off.
You think that insurance companies
What
should
do you
be
mean
mandated?
off-label? What the do you mean off-label?
Wait, why was the term off-label introduced right now? How did we go to off-label? I don't get it. I'm lost as always in this debate, but whatever. This debate is just, oof. I don't even know anymore what's happening. I'm lost. I'm like a little puppy, lost completely.
As in, if it's not FDA approved to treat a thing, that's an off-label prescription.
Okay, so are you against?
Are doctors en masse prescribing off-label medication knowing that it'll be rejected? Is that the new claim? Doctors are idiots and they just en masse prescribe things that are gonna be rejected, knowing that? Are the doctors the bad guys now because they prescribe things knowingly with perfect awareness of the fact that everything that they prescribe will be rejected by the company? Like I gotta admit, in this scenario, the doctors sound like evil cunts. Yeah, we're all just gonna prescribe this off-label thing, this off-label treatment, this off-label medication. Who cares if it gets rejected? No skin off my back. Like, is that what's happening? Really? That's weird. I mean, I would think that a doctor prescribing either medication or treatment would have the good sense to be like, hold on, this thing is off-label. It'll be rejected. So I guess I have to prescribe an equivalent that is not off-label. But it seems like doctors are just all incompetent buffoons in this scenario, I guess. Like, right? Is that the conclusion that I'm being gently, I don't know, led to by Destiny's gentle, manly hand?
Against the vaccine rollout for COVID?
No.
Okay, well that wasn't FDA approved.
It literally
Only the
was. It was an
one-
emergency
only-
use
only the
authorization. It was
Pfizer.
EUA. Also, that has nothing to do with off-label.
Okay. Double standard then.
Wait, hold on. What is the argument being made? And ironically, what is the argument being made? That doctors keep prescribing off-label medication? Oh my god. Oh my god. What is the... Like, come on. This has to... Is this the argument? The chat is being so quiet. The chat does not have my back in this weird, confusing debate. I guess I'm gonna title the segment "Lucy is confused by the state of U.S. healthcare" because I just don't get any of it. I'm like a little child lost in the supermarket trying to find my mom or dad or relative. Ugh.
If it's an emergency.
That's not off-label.
What do you mean by off-label?
If you have a medication,
Just because something isn't FDA approved, that doesn't mean it's off-label.
that's
What are you
literally what
talking
off-label
about?
means. When you prescribe a medication to treat something, that's not what the medication is approved for. That's an off-label prescription.
Okay, Destiny, the fucking reality is, Ozempic or Wegovy.
So what? All doctors are incredibly incompetent and knowingly prescribe medication that are off-label, right? Or maybe the rules around the whole off-label should be changed. If the only thing that can help a patient with their thing is a thing that is off-label, because the doctor literally cannot prescribe anything else. Like, something's wrong either way. No? Is that not the case? Am I crazy? Like, if the doctors en masse prescribe all those off-label medications, then it seems like it's the only thing that they can prescribe. In which case, why are they off-label? But if there is an alternative that is not off-label that the doctors could be prescribing, then why aren't they? Why are they not? Is it because the medication is so expensive? But then wouldn't it be covered by the insurance? Please, somebody, explain this riddle to me. Because it just baffles my mind, my small brain. Is squeezed by this conundrum. I should call into Destiny and ask him all these questions because I'm just baffled. I just have no clue how this system works. It's so strange. It is full of pitfalls and mysteries and things. It's weird.
Whatever you want to fucking call it. You understand what kind of medication.
Why isn't this guy making these arguments that I'm making right now? Why isn't he asking these questions? Why isn't he pointing these very obvious things out? Why? Why isn't he saying anything? It should be so obvious. But it's not? What? Why? Why? Come on. Work with me. Help me. Help me, Vegan Gains. Ask him. Ask him my questions. Oh my god. These are the most basic questions that you can ask to sort of get to the bottom of how this thing even works. I'm gonna repeat it. If all those things are off-label and they are rejected on the basis of being off-label, then does that mean that all the doctors are just incompetent? And instead of prescribing on-label medication, they prescribe off-label en masse? Or, alternatively, is the only way to deal with certain affliction to prescribe off-label medicine? And if it's the only way to rescue a patient is to prescribe them off-label medication, then shouldn't we look into changing rules about off-label medication if it's the only type of medication some people will need for their... You understand what I'm saying, right? You understand me, right? Philippe Auguste, you're an American. You want to call in and fill me in? Would you like to fill me in? Would you like to explain to me what's happening? Can I have an explanation from some American? Can I get an American on the phone, please? No? No Americans willing to talk to me? No experts? Okay. I see. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed by my American audience, to be quite honest with you.
I'm talking about. There are meta-analyses of randomized trials proving when these drugs are used to treat obesity, patients have a lower risk of fucking dying.
Sure. Then you get FDA approval on it.
Even though,
Then you get FDA approval on it.
Wait. Please don't interrupt me. It is.
So I guess Destiny is going with my second thing, with my second that they should get approval then. But what? I'll just are doctors who cooperate with this particular company prescribing more off-label medication than than for other companies? Jack, don't do it. Keep government out of healthcare and create pharmaceutical manufacturing here. Competition makes the price go down while stimulating the economy. Keep government out of healthcare. Is that sarcasm? Are you being sarcastic, Jack? Don't do it? Is this some weird sarcastic? You're not being serious, are you? Competition make price go down? How about one pharmaceutical company comes on top, creates a monopoly, and dictates high prices? How's that for competition makes the price go down? Have you not seen the state of the internet in the US? Where in every state basically you have a monopoly company which dictates everything, and that's why, no offense, the internet in the USA is shit because of that. Because competition makes the price go down while stimulating the economy, while in reality you have monopolies that just dictate the price and gives crappy service because they can get away with it because all the competitions has been snuffed out. Have you considered this scenario happening? And it happens a lot. I just gave you the example of internet. There you go. I think I've won this debate. Against the chatter. Big government is corrupt. Anything the government gets in is corrupt. Well then, how is the mostly privatized healthcare in the US the most dysfunctional in the world? And all the other companies that have some sort of government-run healthcare are doing so much better. Can you explain that to me? If the government is corrupt and anything that the government does is bad. How is the US healthcare system the most dysfunctional one, even if it's by far the most privatized? Can I have an explanation, please? Oh, I understand what you're saying. I'm just bringing in the American perspective. It feels just so bizarre, you know? It just feels weird. Also, welcome to the stream. Also, how have you found this stream? How have you found yourself watching this stream? And are you enjoying yourself? How have you found me? I'm asking you. Why did you join the page and consider funding my Ukraine endeavors? But yeah, first things first, how did you find me? It's not completely. I didn't say completely. I said by far the most. You should listen to your favorite streamer, because I assume I am now your favorite streamer. I said by far the most privatized. I didn't say completely privatized. Okay? Whoa.